Hey, Dr. D here from K-Huna Life. Hey, so I came down. I travel a lot, and this last week I had to go on a business trip up to New England. Now I live down here in Southwest Florida. You asked me to go on a trip. I'd rather go somewhere south than north, especially in November. So up, so up in New England this last trip, I brought back influenza A, the flu. Oh, it's like, oh God, you gotta be kidding me. Anyway, so I go to see the doc on Monday, and the doc prescribes me the Tamiflu, and been on that for 4 days, and just really hasn't shook the the, uh, the fever so far. So I reached out to some of my friends down in the Caribbean and to the Central America, where I prefer to spend a lot of my free time. And I said, hey, so what's the bush fix? What's a bush fix for somebody that's got a fever and who's somebody's, got something like the flu? And pretty much universally, they all gave me pretty much the same ingredients for a tea. And they said, if you once you have this, you're going to wish you had taken it much earlier. So I went down to my local grocery store and I got exactly what they had suggested I get. Well, and here's the ingredients. So it's pretty simple. We got some ginger, we have an orange, we got 2 limes, honey, and we got some garlic. The purpose of all of these, I'm sure they all have some sort of a vitamin C kind of context and some folic acids of some sort. But I think the honey's purpose is to make it palatable. They said you're really not going to like the taste of the tea if you don't put honey in it. So this piece of ginger, $2.35, readily available. You're only going to use about a third of it. The 2 limes were 50 cents. This was $1.53, and the organic garlic, which we're not going to use, but more than one collective clove, was 350 something. So the whole tea, let's figure $4, and so that's a pretty inexpensive bush fix for the flu if it works. So I'm gonna start processing it up, and we'll see how it goes. So while I'm cutting up all the ingredients, get my little pan full of water here, and really these are the guys I usually go to when I got some ailments, but we're gonna try this. So get a saucepan about this big. I don't know how many quarts that is. Just a medium-sized pan, and throw your ingredients in there as you cut them up. But first get this on the oven, stove, and get it boiling before you put the stuff in there. All right, so here we got it, all prepared. So we've got about a clove of the garlic. You could have just left it an entire clove if you wanted, according to my sources. And then the limes you cut in half. You leave you just clean it, right? So you leave the rind on it and all that. This one looks like it grew somewhere warm because you can tell the rind is kind of thin. Whereas the orange, you can see the rind is thick, and that means it grew somewhere a little bit colder. Don't think it came from Florida because it's November and our crops aren't producing right now in November. And then of course I cut this into about a 3 to 4 finger piece, big hands, so it might be a little bit different in your size. Again, I picked a Florida honey. I just think if you support local economy is going to support you. And they're not a sponsor, but again, I like the idea of supporting your local economy wherever local may be for you. And so I'm going to put all these into my pot, which is currently on the stove and warming up. And then I'm going to bring it to a boil for 30 minutes, let it sit for a little bit, and then strain it. And then it'll be ready for serving. And I'll let you know if it fits the ticket for beating the flu organically, or let's see, naturally at least, and and the less pharmaceuticals we put in us, the better we are. All right, so I got my water to a boil. It's going to be a little difficult to do one-handed, but you get the idea. I'm just going to throw everything in there. Oh boy. Yeah, I really didn't do one-handed. Well, it was silly to do that one-handed. Lost half a lime and burned my thumb, but got everything in there. I had to adjust the water level to make sure I had at least about a half an inch of space between the water and the top. And now I'm going to cover it. I'm going to come back every few minutes and I'm going to stir it and make sure that it's not boiling over, but 30 minutes in the pot, should be ready to go. All right, so it's been boiling for about 30 minutes, maybe 35. And I'm about to turn it off. Now, I started out at a half an inch from there. It was really close to begin with. It boiled over a little bit. I had to take some water. Actually, I didn't take any water. I did in the very beginning when I was filling it up. But it boiled down at least 2 cups. I put 2 cups of fresh water in it about 10 minutes ago. Continued to boil. So that'll top it off. I'm going to let it now. I'm going to turn my flame off. And I'm going to now let it set for about a half hour or so before I strain it and try it. So I actually surprised myself by having the strainer at home. You don't have one of these, you can get them at any grocery store, any big grocery store, right? $2 to $4, something like that, and get yourself a bowl that's going to be bigger than the pot, or at least equal to the pot size. And then strain your contents into the strainer. I'm going to have to do this. I'm going to try to do this one-handed, but it's not going to work too well. I know it. Oh, it did work. So most of the big stuff stayed in the pot. Not. I spoke too soon. There's my garlic. So it came out a cloudy tea, as you see here, and I will try it here in a little bit. What I'm also going to do, you see that I still got a lot of meat on my lime and oranges. When they get a little cooler, because they're really hot right now, I'm going to squeeze them into there. If nothing else, it's going to add more of a citrus flavor to it. Well, here it goes. Got some in here, put my honey in there. Tastes pretty good. Tastes medicinal. Not bad. If nothing else, I would recommend it if you like a tart tea that has a little bit of a citrus taste to it. Again, $4 for a whole pot, right? Why not? So I'm sure there's going to be people that are watching this that have already made this and say, boy, you screwed this up, or you did that wrong, or you might want to consider this. Put your comments down below because I will be paying attention. Yeah. So again, Dr. D here from K-Huna Life, and the purpose of this video, I'm a doctor, but I'm not a medical doctor, right? So I'm one of those rocket scientist kind of guys that likes to explore things that we may already know. So why did I explore this bush fix again? Well, I caught the flu, and I had a routine doctor's visit on this past Monday. Just happened to say, hey doc, I'm not feeling so good. She does the old swab thing, thought maybe I had the Rona. It came back influenza A, and I went up, just spiked up to 102 fever, right? I'm feeling like crap last night. But so my wife is at home, and so anyway, on Monday she went or my doctor called in my prescription, and I went to the local pharmacy, which is at a Publix, and they had it. It was right there, Tamiflu. I got it, took it, been on it now for 4 days. Hasn't really helped a whole lot. I hope I took it in time, but the reality is it's only good if you take it within the first 2 days of showing symptoms. Now I have a wife at home who has terminal disease, it's Huntington's disease. and pretty much bedridden at this point. And she doesn't show any symptoms yet, but prophylactically went to go get the Tamiflu. Doctor called it in yesterday, Wednesday. Today's Thursday. I went to go get it, and they said, well, we won't have it till Saturday. You know, the effectiveness of our medical systems today just aren't what they used to be, and all these excuses about supply chain BS, by the way. You know, we got to look out for how can we get alternative means to healthcare. And I'm not suggesting any medical advice here whatsoever, but you know, there's a lot to be learned from the history of mankind and people outside of the first world. So again, I reached out to my friends down in Central America and in the Caribbean, and there was pretty much consensus on the ingredients that we put into this tea. And you know, if you're a prepper, if you're into homeopathics, if you're somebody that just wants to live healthier without the dependency of pharmaceuticals, you know, try things like this. This channel is dedicated to bush fixes, just living life large, and doing kind of, you know, off the beaten track kind of things. I'm going to post more of these bush fixes for the health of us humans, and for four-legged friends too. You'll also see some of my stuff with my truck and my four-wheeler and living on an island and stuff like that. But you know, if you like this kind of stuff, you know, we're not in this channel's not about money. If it makes any money, I'm going to donate it to one of the charities. And you know, it's about, you know, just sharing information, loving each other, being responsible for ourselves, and living the good life. And remember, you know, people only have as much control over you as you allow them. So God bless, be well, and hope to see you again soon.